Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I haven't been posting a while, but now that it's becoming summer, I'm going to start posting probably once a week. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Paramount after the recent rebuild that just happened by the Evergreen crew, and we're going to see if we can ride all of it. Now, one thing to quickly note when I'm showing you this warm-up lap on Semper is that Paramount took me about 4 days to complete, and I rode every day, 4 days in a row. The first day was doing the drop, which is mandatory, and then the hip gap right after it. The second day was after the step up, we did the angled step down, and then the gap right after that where you're jumping over a bunch of plants. Day 3 was clearing the top section of the trail, which is everything that we had done so far, and then doing the next step down along with the big angled gap before the last two features. And then day 4, the final day, making everything look clean, doing a final run on it with everything, and then doing the last two features. Okay, so right now I'm going to show you the progression. So the first thing we had to do is the drop. The drop wasn't hard because I had done the HLC drop, which is very similar to this. This one you just get it going a little bit faster, so it's a little bit scarier, but the drop really wasn't that bad. So if I had to say there was one thing scary about the drop, it would definitely be right when you're about to land. The landing zone is a little bit pushed out far, so you might case it, but that's it. So the other feature that we did on day 1 was the gap right after the drop. I had seen a couple of people do it, such as this guy right here, and it didn't look that hard, so I eventually just tried it because I had done other big gaps like Gravy Train, Flying Squirrel. So next after the gap, which was easy, was the step up. This one intimidated me a little bit because the first time I tried it, as you can see right here, I actually hit a tree, so I was thinking, oh, I'm not going to do this for a while. So what I just did right there, in my opinion, was the hardest jump on the trail and took me the longest time to master. This took me about 2.5 hours just to do this jump, and that seems like a really long time, but this jump really scared me just because the angle that you're taking off and it looks like you're going to go straight into a bush because you have to turn right on the landing or you have to whip your back end out left. So it's really scary when you roll up to it. Another thing that happened that made me not want to try it again is after I tried it the first 2 times, I nosed in and landed right in the middle where you can see those marks, tire marks, front wheel first, both times. So I was really nervous to do it again, but eventually I got the hang of it. So this was my friend's first time doing it, and he actually did it really well, so it convinced me to do it.
How is it?
It's easy!
Is it really?
That is so easy!
So next, once I mastered the step down after 2.5 hours of work, came the gap. My friend had already done it, so he gave me a pretty good toe in, so it was pretty easy for me. I'm not really going to talk much about this step down because if I had done the other one and this one was straighter and had a straighter landing, I knew I could have done this easy, so I'm not really going to show you anything of this. So next after the step down is the third to last feature, which is a gap. This gap looked really big from the side, but when you're actually coming into it, you have so much speed from the berm that it's really easy to overshoot, but it was really easy because I had a toe in from my other friend, so I did it first try. Now as you can see from this angle, the gap is pretty big, but once you jump it, it feels like you're floating the entire time, so it's not hard to learn. And now we've come to the second to last jump, which is bigger than it used to be. You can see where the old dirt was and where they added new dirt a couple days ago. And this jump intimidated me a lot. I was really nervous to try it just because I'm not that big of a fan of step-ups, and this is also a gap. So when you put those two together, it's really scary. I 100% guarantee you that if no one else was there watching me and riding with me there on this jump, there's no way I would have accomplished it just because I was so scared. But with everyone else there that can do it, I just thought I'm going to full send it, and then I ended up doing it. Now once I did it, I overshot it the first time because I didn't brake check, but it turns out you need to brake check a lot if you want to get speed for the next jump. Now that may seem strange that if you overshoot it, you're going to get less speed for the next jump than if you clear it just by a little bit. The reason is that if you case it, you're obviously going to lose speed. But when you clear it by just a little bit, you're going to have all the other landing room to roll down, and then you can pump the little roller before the last jump really well. This can allow you to land on the far side of the last jump and clear that too. So now we're going to move on to the last jump of the trail, which is obviously easy just because there's a big case card, so if you case it, you're fine. This jump has the steepest lip on the trail. This one was also rebuilt the same day that the second to last one was rebuilt, and I like this one. The curve of the wood for the landing, it's a little weird because if you land on the top, it's more of a spine than a half circle. So this jump is good. The lip is really nice, and it pushes you perfectly, kicks you perfectly, but the landing could use a little work. Okay, now I'll show you the entire trail.